Yes. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Toby Adesanya, and welcome to the webinar titled Overcoming Addictions Through Superior Belief Systems. Welcome. I'm connecting with you from Lagos, Nigeria, and earlier we had introduced ourselves about where we're connecting from. If you're just joining the webinar, please just drop a comment in the comment section and let us know where you're connecting from so that we just welcome you specially. So welcome everyone. So the webinar of a lifetime, or the webinar of the weekend, like I was saying earlier to my people on WhatsApp, that this is the webinar of the weekend, all right? Because it's going to be insightful, engaging, educative, and transformative for you on this journey. All right. So we dive right back in. Just today we're just reflecting, myself and my wife were just thinking of something, and we're like, uh, you know, um like there was a particular person, right, that we know that used to live around where we stay currently. He has moved out of the country to Canada with his entire family and all that. Very amazing. Everybody loves him. He's a very loving person, very caring, friendly, and he's a very, very responsible person as well, because everybody likes to give him things to do and he gets things done. That's the kind of person he is. But after a while, I got to know him. I observed a particular behavior with him, and that's the fact that I used to notice that when he wanted to smoke, he would just go outside the gate where his children would not see him, or maybe his wife would not see him, and he would just smoke, and and by the time he's okay, he just cleans up and goes back into the house. So is if everybody loves him, right? And but that particular habit, he probably definitely knew that this was not something that either his kids will be proud of if they knew about it, or people that probably live with him. So he intentionally, probably to safeguard their mental space, he would leave the house and they would just go and do it outside. Then when it's okay, he comes into the house. But I used to see him every now and then, whenever he just goes to his corner, to do his stuff and all that. And just made me realize that a person can be all good, all amazing, but there's always that part of them that they are struggling with, or that they truly need help on, and they probably can't even help themselves, right? And the design of life itself, well, life is meant to be wholesome, where every part of our lives is inspiring, every part of our life is meant to be whole, right? That there should be no of course, some people say perfection is a myth, but it's actually supposed to be a journey where you're consistently evolving through the phases of life and becoming a better version of yourself. Right. So just that being said, let me just say a quick prayer, right? Because all of this is inspired by God anyway. So Father, I thank you for this meeting. I pray that you will teach each and every one of us, open the eyes of our understanding, and cause this meeting to create ripple effects of positive impact across the nations in the name of Jesus Christ. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So let's just dive right into this. Right. Yes, my slides. Are you ready? You're ready. Let me see those applause on Google Meet. Let me see those applause. Let me see those emojis flying. And please continue to invite your friends. But let me just see those emojis flying right now. Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let me put this laughter emoji. It shows like you're laughing to tears. Anyway, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, everyone. All right, so let me just dive right in. So, in case you're just meeting me for the first time, right? Okay, this is our agenda. This is a rough flow of our agenda: introduction, concerning addictions. We have some exercise that we're going to be doing on this call that would help us to literally internalize what we are learning. And I'm telling you, I'm very big on this because somebody said that what you teach me, I may forget, but what I participate in doing, I would always remember. So the best way to teach something is by making people to participate in the knowledge itself. Right? Do you understand? So yeah, my name is Oluwatobi Adesanya. For those who don't know me, all right, I'm your facilitator and your trainer for today. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook there. But yeah, about me quickly, I earned my certification as a speaker and a trainer and a coach in the fear result process. It's a part in psychology anyway, where yeah, that was in 2019, and today I specialize much more in journal therapy, helping people to overcome trauma, abuse, and depression using specific therapeutic journaling techniques to help them to heal, to find clarity, and to find the courage to live. I also got certified by the Center of Excellence in UK to practice as a journal therapy coach. Right, this is my certification, which I received in 2021 with a distinction back then. as I did my exams and my studies. It was a very enriching experience for me, and I still continue to cherish it to today. Right. Again, I'm also passionate about teenagers and young adults. I do this through training, and I get to impact them through training, right? Through writing, through coaching, through mentoring. And this passion has created for me several platforms of impact over the years. So I began all of this impact journey since 2013, I believe. So it's over a decade now of working in impact for young people and teenagers and young adults as well. So part of the programs I've done over the years include a conference for students, which is called Instructions for the Tertiary, where I prepare or we prepare students to live purposefully on campus, right? And that vision came out of the book of Daniel chapter 1 about how the king Nebuchadnezzar decided to bring people from Israel to become students in Babylon, and they became leaders in Babylon eventually. That's like Daniel and his friends, right? That vision came out of how that I should prepare students to live purposefully on campus. So it became Instructions for the Tertiary, and it has been on since 2014, and the last one we did was in 2021, I believe, right? But it's still going to be revamped again. The next one that we have again is Reset, and we also have Enlightened Academy. And more recently, I began a healing meeting, an emotional healing meeting, right? Called Exhale. So this is some pictures of our programs that we do for students. This was one of our students' conferences that we had, right? One of our most impactful conferences that we have for students across different secondary schools in Lagos, where we teach them how to live purposefully on campus, and teach them through topics on passion, on purpose, on academic excellence, and topics on finding God, finding your vision, just preparing them for life, on campus fully. I'm also the founder and the creative director of Heart to World Publishing, a publishing company that runs with the vision simplifying the journey to self-publishing for aspiring authors. I'm also the author of over a dozen titles, right? Including my very famous book, No More Heartbreaks. Wait a minute. If you have seen or read that book, let me see your hands in the comment section. I also have written a book titled From Struggling Right to Serial Author, Get Dressed. Sorry, that was a wrong spelling. Get Dressed, Quantum Leap, amongst many others. Right, my company, right, Told, has produced almost 100,000 books in print over the past 6 to 7 years. We've also written for authors across the world, over 400 ghostwritten books for authors across different continents of the world. We have also over 100 books published on Amazon and other digital global stores. All right, this is me receiving some awards some years back at the business conference where I was able to speak, and I was given an award for being outstanding in the writing and the publishing space in Nigeria, in Lagos State, right? Yeah. So moving on, let's just move in. So that's a brief about me. There's a whole lot more, but this is just a concise view. And probably before the program is over, you can follow me on social media and see more of the work that I do with people, young adults, with teenagers, and of course, now I'm a young adult anyway, so I get to do talks and teachings with that in that area and that audience. So are you ready to get into the conversation now? That was just a little brief. I had to run through that for people that are just knowing me for the first time. So are you ready for the main webinar now? I want to dive in right now. Let me see those emojis. Let me see those emojis. Yeah, I can see David doing that. Oluwatobi just dropped some more. Yep. All right, so this is where my teaching starts. Okay, yes, defining addictions. All right, so basically they are compulsive behaviors, right? Or substance use disorders that our individuals struggle to control despite the negative consequences. And in this webinar, I'm not going to be particular about one part over another part. I'll use different examples from sexual addiction to substance addiction, right, to social media addiction, right, to betting addiction. I'll be using different examples as I go along. So do not, but of course, if you have particular questions, we'll have a time for Q&A later on where you can ask particular questions, about these things. But this is just a simplified view of what it is. And I want you to look at every word that is here. Addictions are compulsive behaviors. All of these words are intentionally used. They are compulsive behaviors. I'm going to explain how these things come to be, right? They are compulsive behaviors, right? Like, that, okay, now, for example, right, I'm sure I can beat my chest that everybody on this call today, you have brushed your teeth. Let me just use an example. How many of you on this call have brushed your teeth today? Shagun raises, and of course, you know what? If you lie, actually, I can't actually smell it from this call, because it's online. But anyway, that's just in passing. But definitely, I know that you have taken your bath today. You've eaten today. I mean, these things are literally natural to you. Your brain has adapted to it. That you can't even say that you forget to brush your teeth or to eat in the morning or to eat in the afternoon or to eat at night or to wear your clothes if you are going out. I can bet that everybody on this course, even though you're in your room, you're probably wearing something on your body, isn't it? Right? I mean, you're clothed. So it is a natural, it's a compulsive behavior. And then that's an example of that is a subtle natural example of what an addiction is. It's natural to you. It has become a compulsive behavior to brush your teeth in the morning, to take your bath, right? Or to wear clothes when you're going out. You don't walk out naked, do you? All right. So addictions are like that. They are composed. It has become almost natural to you. So when you see somebody that is probably an armed robber that likes to steal, that likes to steal, maybe steal people's phone in traffic, or maybe to pick people's pocket in the market, it is not that they are bad people. Number one, no, to us they are bad people, but actually it is a behavior that's become natural to them. Yes, of course, they may have justifiable reasons to do that in their mind, which may be wrong, but in their mind, it's a natural behavior, right? So it's a compulsive piece. So when you see somebody that is addicted to a particular thing, maybe in your school, in your environment, in your maybe amongst people that you mentor, or even yourself or whatever, it's not that you're a bad person. Actually, no. It's just that the person it has become natural to the person over time, right? And I'll show you a graph of how that happens, right, very soon. But let me just explain this again with more examples so that you get the perspective of what I'm teaching. That is a compulsive thing, so that you just feel compelled to want to continue, even when you know that this thing is bad and it's killing me, right? You still want to continue. You still want to go even deeper because it has become almost natural, like nature to you in a sense. Now it says or substance use disorders. Now substance can be even as simple as paracetamol. Now I'm using my own definitions now so that I can make it more encompassing. It can be as simple as you liking to take Coke every morning, afternoon, and night with every meal that you take. Maybe you can't do without Coke or without taking a soft drink if you want to eat. Let me ask somebody on this call. Are you on this call? You like to take a soft drink when you're eating your food? Let me see your hand up. Let me know who to flog. If you are here, you like to take a soft drink when you are eating your lunch or your dinner, or maybe once a day. Let me see your hands up. If not, maybe everything on this call is the same. So that's fine. That's fine too. But anyway, that's just in passing. That substance use, right? It can even be there up to things like marijuana, things like weed, things like alcohol, things like cocaine, things like all of this that we see on social media, Colorado, all of these things. And the way addictions are is that it progresses. It is never in one state. I'm telling you, once you like something, you will find different ways or different means to get that thing. And I'll get to some other parts as I go along. It says that individuals struggle to control despite the negative consequences. And this is what makes addiction different from your habits, like maybe brushing your teeth or maybe eating food or wearing clothes. The difference is that an addiction affects you negatively or affects that person that you know negatively. In fact, just yesterday or so on Twitter, I saw a picture of a guy that decided to do a throwback of his 100 level in university and his current 200 level in university. When this guy came into university, he was looking all fresh. I mean, he was looking fair, was a bit chubby, and in just a year, he was looking very slim, almost like he was looking like a very old man. Now, I had thought that maybe it's because of school stress. You go through stress in school, go for lectures, you don't probably eat well. Only for me to discover that in his comment section, he said that somebody had mistakenly put what they call ice. Ice is like another kind of hard drug, all right, in his weed. So that means this guy was taking weed before and he was probably looking still fresh and okay, but somebody had mistakenly added ice. So that's a very hard drug as well. So into what he was smoking, and now became addicted to that as well too. So that thing had a very negative effect on his physical well-being. That was looking very, he was looking very emaciated. In fact, I wish I could send you the picture right now, but it's somewhere on Twitter. This guy was looking very, very thin. And he was still, well, of course, he's still in school, he's still doing his life. So he knows that this thing was caused by this thing, but he has not stopped doing that particular thing. So despite the negative consequences of the addictions, is still tied to it. It's a very see, this is a very crazy. We saw yesterday, Abhishek. Yeah, you saw yesterday. This guy was supposed to be a fresh boy. I mean, he was looking like a fresh student. In 1 year, you have become like an old man just because of you have entered into a substance abuse. So despite the negative consequences, this guy is still joking on Twitter. Despite what he's dealing with, right? So something is destroying you, yet you are still allowing it because of something that I'm going to explain now to you. The addictions may be negative in their consequences, right? But there is a mental benefit that the person receives or that you receive from it that makes you undermine the consequences of that particular thing. Now, it's just like the devil, for instance. The devil does some. The devil would offer you the world. He will say, "Oh, just take the world and but give me your soul." So if the person is not wise enough in God's, I mean, is not wise enough, the person will take the world and give it, and his soul is literally his entire existence. So you are trading your soul, your life, your eternal life with God, with just a temporal material possession on the earth that will probably perish after a while or that will expire. So the devil understands this. So even so, if the person is so carnally minded, that, okay, I want to enjoy the best rules or the best women, the best travel, the best private. If that's what the person is after, the person maybe will be dying health wise, maybe struggling with the physical health condition that has no health, that has no cure, but because of the fact that he enjoys women and money, it would undermine the eternal sacrifice of his life because of what he's enjoying. That's typically how addictions work. That you know that this thing is not helping me spiritually or physically. It's even draining my finances. But you are like, ah, yeah, I enjoy this thing. I enjoy this person. I enjoy this particular act so much. And you keep on going back for that high over and over and above your health, your spirituality, your connection with God, even your well-being as a person is affected. All right. So this is me just trying to give a broad perspective to this, that is a compulsive behavior, right? And it's even a disorder, really, actually. And even though you are a person will be struggling to control that particular thing, yet it will still keep on going back to the same thing. So before I continue, let me just ask us, all right? Let's just discuss this for like 5 minutes. Addictions are so easy to form and hard to break. Why is it? I mean, from your maybe you have an experience, maybe you know someone that has been dealing with this in your maybe in your environment, or maybe amongst even yourself, or whatever thing it is, in any form and in any fashion. And it can be as simple as your normal social media addiction, maybe to TikTok or to Instagram Reels or Instagram Explore page or Facebook or even WhatsApp. So just let's just talk. If you can unmute, I'll be glad to hear your voice. Actually, so I'll not be the only one talking here. I'm not a radio. I'm a human being. All right. You drop a comment. All right. No, I want to say something.
No, I'm just. You said on mute, so I'm here.
Yeah. So I said we are discussing this topic now for like 5 minutes, right?
Okay.
So if you so the topic is addictions are so easy to form and very hard to break. So based on maybe your experience or someone that you know, right? Why is it so difficult for people, right, to be able to break what was easily formed in the very first place? So just I mean, if you want to share, maybe your microphone you can unmute, but if you want to type it in the comments, you can also type it in the comments so that we can just learn together for the next 5 minutes. I have a lot to share, so but I want to interact with us so that I don't miss your own contribution. So, yeah.
I feel like it's that dopamine thing. Like that's your state of pleasure, man. You're not going to drop it for anything. At least I think.
Yes, the dopamine addiction. Yeah, that pleasure. I can understand what you make. But you want to share more about that?
Uh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I just feel like the reason why that habit that you just started like easily is hard for you to drop is just because of the pleasure you're getting from it. It's hard to stop something that you love doing or that you are enjoying. That's what I feel.
All right, thank you so much. No, Shegun, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I think that the other way I've seen it, like both in my experience and in also like talking to people, like maybe for instance, alcohol. I mean, I've not had alcohol addiction, but I see like similar like denomination. How will I put similar factors there? Is the fact that yes, like you started it, but um somewhere in the journey, so to say, it seems as if the thing is now the one that is controlling you. And what before seemed like you can look at and say, okay, I'm not taking this, I'm not doing this. Now it becomes what, even when you are not even thinking about it, it is calling
Mm,
you and in essence like giving you instructions, so to
yeah,
say, and then you just have to like, and you are you are so tired that you're obligated to fulfill the demands of that thing, and it reaches out to you anytime that it wants. So I think it
mm,
is that point that it becomes okay. You are now hooked and you can't stop. But at the inception, you were the one that was going to eat yourself, and then
yeah,
at the point it becomes your master.
absolutely. Thank you very much for that amazing analysis. Can we just clap for both Noah? Can we use a clap emoji for Noah and for Shegun, please? If you want to share more, just use the comment section instead, so we don't take too much time. But thank you so much, Noah and Shegun, for that. I really love the analogy that Noah gave about dopamine, and also what Noah and what Shegun just said. It's so profound. The dopamine effect is a very powerful thing. So when God, let me just do a quick thing quickly so that we rush along. When God created the human body, right? The brain is our nerve center. The brain is what controls our body. Like that's the central processing unit of everything that happens in your body goes through your brain. Your brain is aware of everything that happens in your body, right? So the way the way that we learn as human beings is something called reinforcement, right? And this thing can be divided into two major things, into pain and pleasure, all right? Into pain and pleasure. So now for instance, a baby want a baby that wants to work would start by holding on some things, and after a while will fall down, get up again, fall down. So each time the baby falls down, the brain is telling you that okay, don't try to walk too fast. Let's try to walk slowly. Then just again, fall again. Okay, so okay. Now try to stand first before you start walking. Like the brain is every time a baby falls and like that is not the same thing that happens to the baby's brain. The baby is learning and unlearning and relearning the same thing over and over until it perfects how to stand, how to work with things, and also how to start walking and how to start running. So the brain is learning, is reinforcing how to do it or how not to do it. Okay, this is how to do it. And if the baby is able to get it, now the brain says that wow, we've been able to do this, we've been able to achieve how to walk. Wow. So that makes the baby happy. You see, the baby now trying to start running everywhere in the house, like because he's now excited about the act of running. So that pleasure center is activated once you're able to accomplish a task, or you're able to find fulfillment in something, or you're able to enjoy something. So, and that's the same way you feel when you take your favorite food. Maybe you like ice cream, or you like fried rice, or you like spaghetti and hot dog, or you like shawarma and pizza, whatever you like as your food. Just imagine how you feel when you taste your favorite food. Just imagine. My wife likes amala a lot, but that abula, that abula, that's what she likes. She likes it when it's hot and with the giri and all of that. So just imagine that you are eating your. In fact, even when you are thinking about like that, you're already thinking of taking it. Right, that pleasure that you get from eating what you like the most is activates your reward center. Like, Toby, if you ate amala yesterday, you like that means if you eat it tomorrow, so you won't like it better. Like you begin to crave for the same things at different times, at different places, because your brain now tells you that when you take this thing, oh, you will enjoy it. In the same vein as well, too, when you maybe touch fire for the first time, or when a baby touches fire for the first time, baby will be like, oh my god, this thing is very friendly, but it's very painful if I touch it. So the baby now learns not to go to the candle, even though the candle is attractive, right? It learns not to go there because it will burn and cause pain. So the brain now says, okay, please, oh yes, it's fine, but don't go there, oh, it's going to burn you. Right. So the brain reinforces learning through pleasure or through pain. Now, the thing about addictions is that because it activates the reward centers in the brain. So, for instance, somebody probably likes to watch pornography, for instance, like that, and there's endless content on pornography on social media and even on all of these things. But there are billions of gigabytes of data that I can watch for a lifetime. So imagine finding one particular one like that, and you like it, like, oh my god, this is so good, and you are there for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or you start with maybe smoking. And I'm like, I mean, this thing makes me feel high. Oh my god. Then you go back again tomorrow. No, so even though they wrote that smokers are liable to die young, right? You're like, but this makes me feel high. So your feelings that you have in your see, okay, let me just say this quickly. That you can know the truth, but it is the truth that you believe in your head that will govern your life. Please write this down in your notes if you're writing. You may know the truth about something, but it is the truth that is in your head that you choose to believe that governs your life. So a person can say, say if you smoke, it will destroy your lungs and you may even die early. But in your own head, what you believe is, when I smoke, I feel high, I feel bold, I feel happy, I feel like I'm free, I feel like, oh my god, I feel like I can toast anybody, I can talk to any guy, I can talk to any lady. Like, so in your head, what you are believing, what you are telling yourself is that when I smoke, I will be high, I will be bold, I will be able to do anything I want to do, and I can do it. But you know, I saw a very, I don't know how to put it, Sha, a very interesting. Let me put it like this way, video of Whiskey. Whiskey was in the studio with some guys, right? They were just doing their stuff. They were in the studio. They were just Whiskey was smoking heavily. When I say heavily, oh my god, I was like, oh, this guy. He was smoking heavily like that. Like, oh my god, this is how this guy maybe gets his own inspiration. Like, that's the way he's able to, go on stage and do the performance and jump and sing and do crazy lyrics and all of that. That's his own environment. And you're like, this guy is a superstar, and people want to be like him. But this is a guy that is trapped, addicted to his alcohol and to his smoking. And I mean, he was puffing heavy smoke. I was like, this is crazy, right? This is a superstar that had access to the best doctors, to the best advisors, to the best team, to the best managers. But because maybe when he takes that, he's able to produce multi-million-dollar songs, they will not tell him to stop, and even he will not stop it, because he knows that when he stops, he won't be able to have the high that he needs to produce what he wants to produce. This is how crazy addictions can be. So even though he might even die in the process of taking it for so long, the fact that he's making a lot of money and being a star is more important and more primary to him than even trying to deal with that. Are you getting what I'm saying this evening? Are you getting what I'm saying this evening? That addictions are very easy to form. They are very hard to break. And this one, why they are hard to break is this. It is the story that the person is telling him or herself in their head that makes it hard to break. So even if the truth is that this thing can kill you in 24 hours, if what the person is saying in their head is that but this thing is making me feel like a man or feel like a woman, don't even though the truth is there, what they believe to be the truth in their mind will be what governs their experience. Are you getting what I'm saying this night? Please let me get one or two emojis in the comment section. I get what I'm saying, right? Because this is very critical, and that's the reason why a lot of people are struggling to overcome addictions. Because yes, they have heard sermons, they have heard I mean, they have read books, maybe they have done research, they have been able to maybe talk to one person or two persons about what they're going through, but because all they are hearing is just what is coming from the outside, it has not entered into their heart, so they keep behaving the same way over and over and over, even despite having so much advisors to advise them. So tonight, I'm going to take you through the journey of how this starts, and of course how to develop superior belief systems. Honestly, I have a lot to share, but I pray that the Lord will help us to finish everything. Anyway, so let's move on. All right, let's just move on quickly. So I said we start out our lives free of any addictive behavior, but we soon become addicted to one thing or the other as life evolves. And there's a why behind it, right? Like I just explained to you just a few moments ago. There's a why behind it, and we need to know why we act the way that we do. So let me just jump. Let me just move on so that I don't spend too much time here. So yes, I said how are addictions formed. This is the 7-step cycle, which I literally just had to put together for this meeting. Right. These are the 7-step cycle of how addictions develop. Number one, there's an exposure to a trigger. Right? There's an exposure to a trigger. If I could ask anybody on this call, how did that addiction start? Or if you ask anybody that that's going to struggling with particular thing, I say, how did it start? There was a point because nobody was born a cocaine addict or a sex addict or a gambling addict or a social media addict. Nobody was born with a phone in their hand and say, "Yeah, I'm scrolling on social media." Nobody was born with a phone or born with cigarettes in their hand. Or, nobody was born with a cigarette from the womb or whatever, or weed or whatever, or whatever. Nobody was born. Everybody was born without knowledge of anything. But somewhere along the line, as they were walking through life, as they were going to school, maybe a family member, maybe an uncle, maybe even a church member, maybe a classmate introduced them. Maybe there's always an introduction to every conclusion. I could say that. There's always an introduction, right? So that's why it says there's an exposure to a trigger. And that strangely, I've observed over time of my life and all that, that each person deals with different kinds of addictions or different kinds of triggers or different kinds of temptations. Or let me put it differently. Let me put it differently. I would say that people are tempted by different things, and I'll explain what I mean. So for maybe Mr. A, for instance, maybe Mr. A is lured much more when he sees naked women on magazines. It's just like, oh my god, my body is moving, and he just feels led to go and maybe hire a girl to do whatever he wants to do with the person, or to go online to watch pornography or something, or to touch himself or whatever, right? Mr. B is probably drawn by when he sees guys that are just in a circle and they're drinking Hennessy, Heineken, smoking weed. I'm like, more, as he feels drawn to want to join them. A lady can feel like, whenever she just sees food, just wants to just spend all her money on the food. I mean, she's drawn by food, or drawn by men, or drawn by money, or drawn by whatever thing it is like that. So if you bring maybe cigarettes to Mr. A now that likes women, he might not even feel like, what's the just push it, that's rubbish, that's my thing. And you would think that this guy's a good guy. But it's not just triggered by smoking, as it is by maybe sex, or by women, or by men, as the case may be in this world that we are living. All right. So the trigger is different for each person. So if Mrs. A is triggered by maybe maybe seeing a guy that has a six-pack, all right, Mrs. B might not be triggered by that same thing. So each person has triggers depending on how they were exposed. See, I need to get this into our minds very clearly. So if a child growing up in a family was probably exposed to a father that was a smoker or a drinker or a womanizer, there's a high tendency that child because that was his exposure. Please get what I'm saying. So when you see a person that is more drawn to a particular habit than another habit, it's not because that they are born like that. It's because of their first exposure to that thing was that thing. Please, if you get what I'm saying, say I get what I'm saying, or rather, I get what you're saying. Please give me a comment. Let me know that you get what I'm saying. Noah is giving me a thumbs up. Yeah. So if a person is triggered by maybe smoking, or by women, or by pornography, or by social media, or maybe even some other kind of thing that you're dealing with, it is because there was an exposure. That was their earliest exposure to that. I mean, in life. I didn't want to really say this though, but I remember that my very first exposure, which was not anyway intentional in any way, right, by my parents, none of that, was that I think I was like age 5 or so, and we're living with my grandma. My grandma is later and all that anyway. Way back when I was much younger, but even my grandma back then, this many years ago, like 5 years old. And I think now that I must have seen my parents having sex, right? I mean, I did not, I didn't know what it was back then because I was just a baby boy. I was like 5 years old. right? But it became obvious to me many years ago, oh, what they were probably doing was because we were all living in the same room, because they gave us a room back then. That was when we were much. I mean, I was like 5 years old back. We were living with our grandparents back then, anyway. So we are just in our space there before we all moved out. Moved out. Anyway, long story. Anyway, so but I think I was like 5 years old, and I remember that I think I saw them doing something, but I didn't understand what it was or what they were doing. But I understood much later in life. All right. So that was like my first exposure to what was adults as a person. So I'm not surprised that after a while, I mean, I became so much drawn to such things that my first exposure to pornography was done like at the age of 14 by classmates in school and all of that. Right. A classmate came to class with pornography, whatever thing on his phone back then. All right. And that was like an exposure. But the first exposure that became the trigger. So I was able to respond to that. To the trigger that of my class and bringing these things to the class, because my first exposure had been something like that at the age of 5. So in psychology, it is already said that the first 7 years of a child's life, is extremely critical to what the person will become. So whatever exposure, so even if the child is not yet, never ever say that a child is not old enough to know what is happening. Yes, he may not know what is happening, but his brain registers it, and he will know when the time comes. So if a child is exposed at the age of 2 to even if the child is just 2 years old, and it's in a house where they are smoking and they are doing all these kind of things that they're talking about, he may not be a part of it or know what is happening as it were, but something is registering in the child's life. Is an exposure. And that's why that's why you will see that the rich will always get richer, because they curate experiences for their children from the moment they are born. I'm telling you. So it means that you, as a parent, that's of course, like we're all still young here, but as a parent, or when you become a parent, that means you can design the life of your child. You can curate experiences that will make the child become a superstar in the future, because it is already proven scientifically that in the first 7 years of a child's life are critical to their development psychologically, physically, emotionally, right, even spiritually. So exposure matters. But of course, again, I was also exposed again to church. You get, my grandparents were pastors in their own churches back then around that, and my parents became pastors in Redeem. So again, I was also positively exposed to spirituality and spiritual things. So naturally, I respond to spiritual things very, very easily, because my parents and my environment that I grew up in, it was spiritual. So I respond to teachings, to sermons, to counseling, to teaching, to prophecy. Why? Because I was exposed to that from childhood. All right. So honestly, I'm going too far, maybe too long, but let me just continue. So I won't take too much time. So exposure, that's where it starts from, right? So exposure to a trigger. What triggered it? So my question to you is that, or to that person that you're mentoring, what triggered? Ask them, or ask yourself, what triggered that? Who triggered? What was your first exposure? When you find it, you will know why that thing is. And that's why a person may be drawn to cigarette more than women, or to women and cigarette, or to money more than gambling, or whatever. You just see that they have this affinity to certain things that is just the way it is. Number 2 is, in psychology, is called what? Initial gratification. So that feeling that you have, that, oh my God, this thing actually feels good. Oh, this alcohol feels nice. As it makes it's bitter, but it actually makes me feel different. This thing is cool. Oh. Like that initial gratification. So your brain registers the pleasure. Say, oh, this is pleasurable. I like this. Oh wow. I think I try it again. Let's try it again. And I try it again. Then I go the second time, the third time. Until that becomes a compulsive behavior. So going forward, that says what? Repeat behavior. That's the number 3 step, right? So it becomes a repeat behavior of you going back to the same place over and over again. Now, at this phase, you may not know how at this phase of number 3, you may not know the negative impact of it yet, because you're still enjoying it at this point, right? Number 4, there's now what they call a tolerance development. And I will explain what this means, because now there's something called the law of diminishing returns, right? So if you are licking sugar now, like for instance, you're licking sugar, for instance, so just imagine that you are licking sugar right now. Just imagine. Now the first taste is sweet. Sugar. Oh my God, you like sugar. Oh, sugar. The second one is sweet. The third time is sweet. The fourth time is sweet. But after like maybe like the fifth spoon, you will feel terrible. Yes. Now, funny thing is that it's still the same sugar. It's still the same component, the same thing that was in the plastic or in the bottle, wherever you kept it. But your body now starts reacting to it. So God, I believe, developed this system in our body so that we will not go beyond ourselves. But again, we can actually still break that law, right? Now, because your body now says, ah, come, this is now, it's too much now. I think it's good, but it's too much. Why can't you be going here over and over again? Right? So you now begin to develop like a tolerance for it, that this thing is no longer good. Right? But strangely, because of the fact that you enjoyed it, your brain still recognizes that this thing, I still enjoy this thing, I still enjoy this thing. So what can I do? So people now decide to now go, maybe if I take 15 spoons, I'll be better. That's how it is. And strangely, because you're not taking more, or you decide to add maybe honey to the sugar, then you now feel, I like this honey and sugar combination. It needs to make sense. Or you decide to add 10 spoons of sugar into your pap or into your coffee. It's the same sugar, but you say, how else can I enjoy this thing? If I don't add, because I'm taking sugar alone now. It's no longer sweet, but I will still want this sugar. I still want this sugar, but I don't want to. But it's not sweet anymore. Like, so let me add. So they will now add five spoons to 1 spoon of gari. What can you do? Go, sorry, it's very sweet. So I like it. So that way you have now broken the tolerance barrier. So why God gave you a tolerance barrier to be able to know when to stop a particular habit or particular thing, you by your wisdom now break the barrier because you still want to enjoy that thing against all odds. So that's why people say in addictions, because they now find more creative ways to enjoy what is destroying them. So a person that used to take weed now decides to add weed to his beans. He's cooking beans, he's not adding weed to beans, or adding weed to rice, adding weed to coffee, adding weed to tea. Or I'm telling you, or a person is watching pornography and now adds masturbation to it. Now he wants to stop the pornography, but because he's now tired of, let me add masturbation to it, and he now enjoys it again. He doesn't like the pornography anymore, but because he still likes it, he now finds a way to enjoy it so that he will not feel the pain of tolerance anymore. All right. The same thing goes for people that bet as well too. They're like, I've been betting to naira. Go click. I will just Google bet my whole salary and see if it will enter. It's why? Because they are chasing a particular level of pleasure. That's how it works, right? So people break the tolerance barrier when they're supposed to allow it to safeguard them. Now, number 5, all right, is what dependency formation. So at this phase now, at this phase now, not like that, you literally have to live, or you cannot live without it. The Bible says that the just shall live by faith. So the same way, so you cannot live without that thing, because you have not become, you have found more creative ways to depend. So in a way, your body now says, well, since we are finding more ways to enjoy this thing, now. So every single day, you're thinking of how to enjoy that particular thing in a different way. I hope this is making sense to somebody, all right? Then you now find more creative ways to enjoy what is destroying you, right? So you now begin to depend on this particular thing. See, if you've ever watched videos of maybe sex addicts that are dealing with that are trying to recover from these things, or maybe people that are probably trying to withdraw from or are experiencing withdrawal symptoms from hard drugs, you'll pity them, their parents, their family. You'll pity every person that is connected to them, because it can be, in fact, see, I liken it to almost like demonic possession, because they'll be shaking, they'll be vibrating, like, as they will look so terrible, they will look like they are, it looks like a demonic stuff. All right. See, God never desired that man will be under the influence of anything outside of him. So it is a misnomer to be under the influence of anything that is not God. Anyway, that's just in passing. That's not my point. I just want to say that in passing. So at this point of dependency formation, you're not like, you are finding more creative ways to eat this bread or to do what you have been doing. You find more creative ways to, in fact, you know that for instance now, right, pornography is a very easy thing to find online, right? But there are some people that their own level of toxicity is that they look for the ones that has to do with child pornography, for instance, right? They go to sites They probably rape children, and they are put those, and that's where they find their own pleasure, because now they have lost the pleasure at the level of watching the normal ones of adults. Now they're like, oh, now they now break tolerance barrier by going deeper into looking for the ones that are more bizarre, more evil, more. For some even go as far as watching the ones that have to do with animals, because their brain now is looking for a new level of excitement. They are breaking it. They are, in fact, so they can even be passed to now. See, the thing about this tolerance barrier is that when you are breaking it, it has no care about who you are. Maybe you're a pastor's child, or you are a banker, you are a senior officer in your school or your university or in your company. You will find top CEOs of mega banks, of mega churches. You will find people like that on their laptops. You will find the most depraved things there. Why? Because the tolerance barrier is such that, you see, when you break it like that, I mean, I don't know how to explain what is in my mind right now, but I will get it. Always be able to bring it out. All right. Because you are chasing a particular level of high and pleasure, you damn the consequences of even you getting caught in those particular things. I'm telling you. So that's why, a person can be caught and that's why you would hear that things like you hear that this particular rich man raped his housemate, and you be like, how can this rich man that can get any girl at a phone call, why would he go as low as staying with an housemate that can just, I mean, this is supposed to be a rich man, why is he doing this rubbish? That's typically the way it is, because they're like, once that feeling comes like this, they don't care their reputation, they don't care. In the Bible says that by means of a worrish woman, a man has become a loaf of bread. That means that a man that is so drawn to adultery and to and to fornication and all of that, that the man can be a billionaire. It says, but by means of that worrish woman, he has become as a loaf of bread. That means even if you are worth $200 billion, at the point of the addiction, right, you can do anything that can make you as cheap as a loaf of bread. And that's typically how some people will go and sell their houses to buy drugs. They will sell their cars to be buying cocaine. And you'll be like, this cocaine will finish. Oh. How would they buy on that one? They will go and maybe steal money to. And that's what some people are doing Yahoo. Why? So that they can fund their addictions. I don't know why I'm taking so much time on this topic. I don't know why I'm taking so much time, but let me just dig a bit deeper and I'll move away. Right? So they break the tolerance barrier. That, to fund, so they can steal money to fund their addiction. They can, even though their reputation is even at stake, they don't care, because that thing is driving them. And that's why for me, I think to an extent that there's a spiritual dimension to addictions, and that must be dealt with as well, because the devil likes it, that you're under his control. Number 6, loss of control. Hey God, I finished my time. I'll rush through the next rest in 15 minutes. Loss of control. That means you don't have any control anymore. Is now controlling you. Just like Shegun was saying earlier, that the thing that begins to control you, because you have lost every form of control, you have lost every form of restraint that God has put into your mind for you to help you, right? Then finally, of course, this is where you now begin to feel all the negative consequences, right? Some people have lost their marriages to all of these things, to addictions, to cocaine, to gambling, to sex, to pornography. People have lost their businesses, people have lost money, people have sold properties. People have duped people just because they want to sponsor their addictions. All right. So this is the cycle. This is how addictions develop, and how they become devastating to people. So this is my next point of our meeting today. What are beliefs, or what are belief systems? Right. I think I'm already even so let me just pause and let us do a quick exercise, right? Let us do a quick exercise here so that I don't just teach everything through. Let me just, so I call this belief mapping system. um I call it belief mapping system. So let me just share what that means, right? So just bring out your exercise book or your notes or your journals as we do this. So number 1, I call this, like I said, belief system map or belief mapping system. Belief system mapping. Let me put it like that. Belief system mapping. Number one, I said this, right? Write out that area of struggle where you are currently struggling. Maybe, like I said, addiction to alcohol, to whatever, or use this as a template to help that person that you know that is dealing with this particular thing right now. Right. So just number one, write down a specific area of life or that area of life where you are currently struggling. Right. Number two, this, write down the list of the beliefs that you think is holding you down. Please take these things down very quickly. Right. This is an exercise for us to do right now. And if you can't do it, can you after the call. Number two, I said write down the list of the beliefs that you think or that you know is holding you down. For instance, you can say, man, I need this thing to cope. That's a belief already. That's a belief system. A belief. Or you say, I can't control my cravings. Or I'm destined to be like this. That's a belief system that you already have. You're like, that's a belief in your head. Like I said before, that what controls people is not the truth on the outside that is correct. It is the truth on the inside, even though it's incorrect. Number three thing that you have to do here, on this task is this. All right, ask yourself, where did this thing start from? In fact, I think I'm even jumping, but let me just quickly rush through it. Where did this thing start from? That's number three. Number four, how have these beliefs affected your actions in the past maybe few months? You have to sit down and write the answers by yourself. Then finally, which is the very big question that I have for you, is this: can you imagine your life being free from that particular addiction? Just imagine the kind of person that you will become. Just imagine yourself as a free person who has complete authority, complete victory over what you are dealing with. Can you imagine yourself? Can you just picture yourself as a new person? Just imagine the you that is now being the one that is mentoring people to be free from that particular thing. Can you imagine yourself being an example that this guy was able to defeat this particular this? I mean, just imagine yourself being that person, all right? So let me just move on quickly so that I don't take too much time there. So belief systems are simply this, right? Where is it again? Yeah. Beliefs are simply the way you see the world. That's the simple way I can put it. Your belief systems are simply the way you view the world. You know that. Just a quick one, really. One time like that, I was okay in. I think this was the year 2007, 2008, or thereabout, or 2009. We had just finished from secondary school, and phones were becoming popular at this particular time, right? So one of my friends had them. These are phones. That's all those Java phones. I don't know if you remember Java phones. Those old phones, Java phones, right? So he used to have a lot of apps. These apps for browsing, for downloading games. All these apps for doing and playing games. All of these tools, and like I just like the way it was so techy or phone smart at that time. I was just still new into the game, so I didn't really know about phones. But this guy had a lot of apps on his phone. Like, this guy. So I was like, I'm a guy, you're a big boy, you're a big boy. It was like, how do you mean? I said, you see your phone, you have plenty apps on your phone now. A big boy, see apps on your phone. The guy laughed and laughed and I said, So in my mind, I was seeing him as a big boy because he had plenty apps on his phone. So my belief was that if you have plenty apps on your phone, you're a big boy. If I ask you now, your own beliefs, okay, now let me ask you. If you see a person that is using an iPhone 15 Pro, how is the person? You'd be like, I'm always like, get money, iPhone 15 Pro, Jesus. And that's how people that are being stereotyped. Each now, if a police sees a guy that has dreadlocks and is driving a Lexus, they be like, this guy must be a Yahoo boy. Meanwhile, the guy may probably be may be a tech guy that runs a tech business, maybe, and works remotely or something like that, and he has a MacBook and he's making money in dollars. But because their mind sees him as most people that have dreadlocks and they carry laptop and they drive Lexus, they're most likely Yahoo boys. So they will stop them. Stop. Give me your phone. Let me see your phone. Because their belief is that once I see a a guy that has dreadlocks that is looking fresh and looking cool, it must be a Yahoo boy. So a belief system or a belief is the way you see and view the world. That is a simple way to define it. So the The combination of how you see the world on different matters, maybe even how you see God, how you see yourself, how you see your church, how you see your business, how you see your wife, how you see your husband, how you see your friends, how you see money, how you see books, how you see the devil, or how you even see, whatever, is what we call a belief system. A combination of how you see and view the world on different matters is what combinates a belief system. All right. So the reason why Elon Musk is the way he is because of the way he sees the world. He sees the world as a place for possibilities. He has built several billion-dollar companies. Why? Because of the way he sees the world, and it solves global problems. It solves big problems. So the way I see the world is the reason why I'm probably still where I am. All right. So the more I change my view, the more I evolve in my view, the more I'm able to do different things and act differently. So let me just rush quickly because I have to finish this in the next 10 minutes. So number three here, yes. So this is where I'm getting into to wrap up my teaching, right? What I call superior belief systems, right? Superior belief systems, superior belief systems, right? All right. So let me just pause here and you know maybe ask one question again so that I engage with us before we rush to completion. If you are following, say I am following. I am following. All right. So let me just ask one question I wrote down here, right? Oh, that's here on my phone. Um, so for yourself, maybe from your own experience of people that you know, right? Um, what beliefs have kept you tied? Or okay, let me ask differently. What's that one belief that has shaped your life over the years that you consider very positive and very helpful? Right? What's that one belief that you know that you have or that you have built over time that has made you who you are? Just share. You can use your mic or just type in the comment section. Right? Just use your mic or type. What's that one belief that you have as a person, as a lady, as a guy, that you know that has helped you over the years? Let's just talk about that quickly. Keep walking. Not say just keep walking. That's a very good one. I mean, just keep on walking. Don't stop. Even if you are tired, just keep on going. Yeah. Um. Anybody else wants to share? What's your own personal belief? Nothing is impossible. Thank you, Noah. Just share, I mean, one personal belief that you know that you have that just has helped you so far to become who you are. I need more. I need like 2 or 3 more to continue. Let me get. You can use your mic on the share and type on the type. Nothing is impossible. Yes, I've seen it already. Please just type in the comment section. Let me get 1 or 2 more. What's that one belief? Okay. Omotoke says there's always a better way. Yes, there's always another way to do things. That's a good one. Thank you so for sharing, Omotoke. There's always a better way. There's always another way. If you are willing to find it, says where there's a way, there's a way. You would always find it. That's a good belief system. That's a very good belief system. That's a very good one. So, what other belief systems have you had that has really shaped your life that you want to share with us? One or two more will be fine. Bolu says, core values are a bit different. Belief systems or beliefs are, let me call them like strings of thought, or to make it simple, the way you see life or the way you see yourself. That's the way I define it here. What is that one? What is that one thing? I said beliefs. Let me go back again. Beliefs, right? Or belief systems. I said a belief is simply the way you see the world or the way you view the world. And a belief system is a combination of the different views that you have about the world on different issues, right? That's the way to put it. So let me just take one more. What is one belief that you have? What is one belief that you have that has helped you to become who you are? Um, so for me, I believe that there is endless possibilities. That's on my DP on WhatsApp, and there are endless possibilities, right, in the maximization of your talents and your gifts. In other words, I believe that, and I got this belief system from when I was a youth corper. I was serving, right, and I went to the lodge of my fellow corper, one of these corpers back then, and he had on his wall, right, um there was a chart of crude oil, right? And they showed on the chart that you can get about 12 or 11 derivatives from crude oil. So there was like petrol, kerosene, diesel, bauxite, paraffin wax, aviation fuel. Like there were about 11 derivatives from the crude oil. So I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. So that means if God even gave me only one talent, I can refine my talent so much that I can become, that now, um, the value of crude oil itself is not so much as it were in the market. But when you refine it, you can create a whole industry of petroleum. You can have petrol stations. You can sell fuel. You can make mad money, right? You can even sell diesel. You can even sell to airports. It's not like, oh my God, wow. So even if I have just one gift or one talent, that there are endless possibilities in what I can be and become once I'm able to refine my talent. So that became my belief system. So, and that's why till tomorrow, right? I don't care how small your gift is or your ideas are. If you're able to take them through a process of refinement, what you can be and do with that idea will blow your mind. So now that's me explaining one of my belief systems to you. So you understand what I'm saying, right? So that's one of the way I view the world. So there's nothing that is a waste, and there's nothing that is in its final state, right? So it means that, so oh my God, I'm going off topic now. Sorry, let me go back on topic. So that's what I wanted to share anyway. Um, let me go back to my topic so I don't go into a different teaching. So yes, so now, do you know that when you climb a building and drop and jump down, eh, you might die? Let me see your hands up. So this is where we get into the meat of our teaching tonight, and I'll wrap up. Why I believe that superior belief systems is the key to overcoming addictions. So, do you know that if you climb a 10-story building, maybe in VI or Lagos, that if you jump down, you will die? Sure, you know that. Let me see your hands up. Just put your hand up. Let me see your hand. Let me just see that hands up. If you know that, Shegun says yes. Kayode says yes. Kayode is even. Mr. Kayode, it's good to see your face. So I've not seen you in like God knows how many years. I see Emmanuel here. So great to have you guys. Right. So I was saying that, yeah. But do you know that if you enter an aeroplane, you will not fall down? Sure, you know that. Hope you know that. If you're in an aeroplane, you would keep on flying and you will land safely at a particular time in your destination. So that's why, and so why there's a law of gravity that makes things fall down compulsorily, and it's the truth. There's another law that is called the law of thermodynamics that makes an aeroplane to get lift, or rather, it's called the law of lift, right? It means that an aeroplane can take off from where it was, maybe in Nigeria, and land in Calgary, or land in Ontario, or land in the United Kingdom, or in New York safely, and there will be no issue. So the aeroplane can defy the law of gravity, even though the law of gravity is still there. I'm saying that even though your belief systems has kept you down, maybe you feel like I can't overcome these things. As in, I've been in this thing for 10 years. I've tried everything. I've even prayed, I've fasted. I have tried. I have even tried to do some things, but I keep coming back here. And that's the law of gravity. It keeps putting you down, putting you down. There are superior laws that makes you say, even though this thing can make me fall down, but I can soar over it. Right? The Bible says that, it says, those who wait upon the Lord, they shall renew their strength, and they shall mount up with wings as eagles. How can a human being become an eagle? Like, they say that there are belief systems that make you behave like an eagle, even though you're a human being. Right? Superior thinking, superior. See. Let me tell you something. What differentiates a believer, a Christian, from an unbeliever? Right? Of course, there is the new Christian life and all of that, but ultimately, it's the way you see the world. Tell you, Paul in the Bible, right? Saul was killing Christians, isn't it? He was killing Christians. He was jailing them, and just one encounter. What happened to him? He began to build the church. He became the chief apostle. What happened to him? Yes, he had an encounter that changed him from the inside out, but the way he now began to see the world now changed. So even though he was an attacker, he now became a defender. I don't even know if you get what I'm saying. Right? That the change, that beliefs just changed. Like everything just shifted. The same person began to act differently because something had changed the laws in his mind. So that's the way it works as well. That yes, I might give you 10 steps to do this particular, but ultimately is this superior laws, right? That makes you see things differently. So I said here that is a system of deeply held convictions. Now just look at this on my screen. A superior belief system is a set of deeply held convictions or assumptions that empower a person. Can you see that word? Empower. It's not about trying. I'm trying to, I am trying to, I am trying to. No, superior belief system to empower you. So is it it takes power to live above these things. It takes power. It says that you shall receive power. It takes power to, it says what? A superior belief system is a set of deeply held. Can you see that word? Deeply held convictions. It says your what have I hid in my heart? So held, you hold it. It's not like you are using it to eat. You hold it like it's a set of deeply held convictions or assumptions. Can you imagine that? That empower a person to think. Can you, oh my god, this definition is everything. To think, can you see that word? So it must affect your thinking. If it's also not, I was telling you before that, see, sometimes what you know is the truth might not even change you. It's what is in your head that is changing you. So a person can be a pastor shout, and he say you will go to hell if you fornicate, for instance. That's an example. That child in his head is like, when I sleep with this particular girl, I feel so happy. I feel so. I mean, this thing is so. I mean, I love this thing. I feel happy. In his head, that is the truth. Oh, all your preaching is just in your church. It's not until that what is outside enters his head and his thinking changes. It doesn't change his behavior. So he said what that empowers the person to think. Number two, can you say that word now? To act. So your thinking now influences the action, and then it says and live in ways that lead to positive outcomes and growth. Can you see that? This is what it empowers the person to think and to act and to live in ways that lead to positive outcomes and growth. And finally, again, it says what that these beliefs are based on truth, on resilience, on an understanding of one's potential, helping people right to overcome this. As in, honestly, I wish I had time to go deeper into all of this, but I'm sure you get those that first part. All right, that it empowers a person to think, to act, and to live in ways that lead to positive outcomes. Now, at the beginning, I was saying that addictions lead to negative consequences, but now superior belief systems now helping to lead right a life that produces positive outcomes. All right, and growth. So let me just move on. Don't take too much time. So let me just say this one here. I have like a few more things to share, and I'll end by 8:30 by God's grace. And we'll take questions and all that. So think high, soar high. You would never find any person that has overcome anything in this life, whether it's overcoming poverty, overcoming addictions to substance abuse, to betting, social media addiction. You never find them without this particular happening in their lives. They thought high. Something must have entered their head. They were empowered to think high, and that made them to soar high. If you can screenshot this thing, just do that and share it online. Think high to soar high. Think high to soar high. And if you want the slides, so I can probably share it, right? But think high to soar high. Let me move on. So I said we really do not see things the way they are. We see things the way we think that they are. So reality, or what we call reality, are only a combination of thoughts of what we think it is. This is a whole webinar on its own, but I'm gonna go deeper into it. But you know what I'm saying here, that see how you see things is what really matters. And until God helps to change that through your own participation of thinking and meditation, you'll never be able to enter to those new realities. Moving on. So yes, this is where the journey really starts, right? Number one, and this is where the superior belief system actually starts from. And I'll do one thing now, and I'll continue this. Number one, I'll say what develops self-awareness. So to do this right now, let's practice something right now. So just close your eyes where you are, right? Maybe in your room or wherever you are, in your parlor or wherever you are right now. Just close your eyes, right? And I want you to look to now imagine that you are looking at yourself from the ceiling. Just imagine as if you are like God, right? And you're looking at yourself from the ceiling of your house. Just imagine what your head looks like, don't open your eyes, just imagine, just begin to have an awareness of yourself, right? So just close your eyes right where you are. Let's do this for like 30 seconds or 1 minute. And just picture as if you are looking at yourself from the roof of your house, or just picture as if somebody is looking at you. Sorry, and picture as if you're looking at yourself from the door of your room or door of your parlor where you are. Just begin to imagine that you're looking at yourself right now. Just imagine that you are looking at yourself where you are seated or where you're lying down. Now, imagine again that you are looking at yourself from your phone screen. Just imagine you're looking at yourself from your phone screen, right? Picture yourself, picture the perspective of what you'll be seeing if you were to be looking at yourself in the maybe in your selfie camera. Just imagine that. Just imagine yourself in your room. Now imagine what is around you. Imagine maybe you are in your room, you can see your TV. Don't open your eyes, just picture it in your mind. That your TV, your television is there, your bed, your cupboard, you know. Just imagine yourself just imagine those things looking at you. All right. Just imagine those things. Now, place your right hand on your chest and just feel your heartbeat. Just make sure you feel the rhythm of your heartbeat. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I'm sure you can. If you did that, I'm sure you can. All right. I, I wish I had more time to do more things, but I'll have to go through. But I did that to make you pause and be aware of yourself. All right. I just make you pause and be aware of yourself. Be aware of yourself. Right. Yeah, that's what self-awareness really is. That's where it starts from. Aware of your environment, aware of what's happening around you, happening inside you, right? So believe a superior belief system starts actually from this point, right? So even though you are like, I've always been like this thing is very hard to break. I don't even know how to get this thing out of here. But just pause. Is that actually true? Just pause. Is this thing I'm thinking about? Is it true? Is there a different way to look at it? Self-awareness. You know that the Bible says that when the prodigal son came to himself, that's the point. Put it as in this guy had spent all his money on drug, I mean maybe on alcohol, on women and all of that. I said, but when he came to himself, awareness. And he see this guy came up with a very solid belief. He said, even my father's servants, they have enough food to eat. I'm here and I'm starving. Can you see how we framed that belief? Now, I'm going to number two now. So he came to himself. Say, wait a minute, I have not eaten for maybe 1 week. I can't even eat this pig's food. They're not even giving me food of animals to even eat. And I'm hungry. I'm dying here of food, of starving and all of that. But my father servant they have enough food to eat and to even waste. And me, I'm a son. I'm here suffering, not even able to eat. I will go back to my father. That is where they see. I'm trying to show you how this thing works. It is an awareness that happens. Light just comes into your mind. uh, um, can you just pause and pray? I say, Father, and just say, Lord, give me light. Let there be light in my life. Just say that prayer right now. Just say, let there be light in my heart. Let there be light in my heart. Let there be light in my. Let there be light in my. Just pray right now. Where you are, just say, Father, let there be light in my life. Let there be light in my mind. Let there be light in my mind. Let there be light in my mind. Let it just dawn on me that this is who I am. All right. And under this word self-awareness is what I would call a recognition of your identity as a person in God. See, that is what it really means to be aware. But that's the core of what that number one here is. That you will just discover that how can I be a son of God and be tied to smoking marijuana or to smoking or to sleeping around? It doesn't look like that's who I am. So that is it. I'm a prodigal son. Yes, I know. Yes, I know that I've spent all my money. I've even misbehaved, but I have one thing left. My identity is still intact. My father's servant we can eat 3 square meals. But me, I'm a son here. I'm even suffering of. I cannot even stay here anymore. So when he realized who he was, the awareness unlocked a new belief system in him that even though I feel guilty about what I have done, my guilt cannot supersede who I am. I will go back. I said, that's how the mind works. Revelation just comes. See, I'm telling you that, see, it is not just me telling you 10 steps to overcome. Yes, I'm giving you steps, but I'm explaining what is in the step so that you will know how to apply it. So you start with self-awareness, that you just pause and say, come. Sorry, I'm touching my eyes. Right. So this guy had to reframe his experience and say, okay, I know I've wasted. So if you may be on this call or something that you know that there's dealing with something else, with some of these things, you may say, yes, I know that. I mean, you may have spent all your money on, on drugs or spent a lot of money on women or betting or social media, all of this thing that people do. But wait. I may have done all of these things, but even my father's servant, the Bible says, even people that are not even Christians, even people that are not even up to your age or up to your status, they are doing better. I mean, how much more me? Who is this person? So how do you see yourself also has to change to conform to what God designed for your life. Because in God's design for you, there was nothing like addiction in your programming, in God's programming for you. So number two here, I said, well, reframing. So you have to reframe. So yes, you reframe the experience. And I will explain what this means right now. Father, help me to explain this one clearly. And you reframe it. So a person now, you know the guy called Joseph in the Bible, right? I'm trying to use examples of people now so you can see yourself in it. Just follow. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers. They sold him into slavery. He was a slave in Potiphar's house. He was put in prison. He was also, he suffered. This guy is so shaggy. All right. But do you know what happened? When his brothers now came to buy food, and they're like, this guy's going to kill us. He said, what's wrong with you? He said, it was not you. It was God that sent me ahead of you to preserve a generation. Ah, how can somebody that was betrayed by his brothers, that was sold into slavery, that was put into prison by even Potiphar's wife and Potiphar, he said he defined all of those things in his mind as what? It was God that sent me ahead of you to preserve a generation. Wow. That was why he became who he became. Because all the while he was suffering, he was not thinking about what they did to him. He was reframing, God must be in this. God must be in this. So can I tell you something? Even in what you are struggling with, God is there. And he can turn it around. I'm trying to tell you that your belief system has to, and it's what you believe in your head that is the truth. But that becomes your truth. Father, help me to explain. I'm trying my best to explain everything in my mind right now. So I'm telling you that the reality of what was happening, right, in everybody's mind was like, yes, Joseph is a slave. This guy can never become anything in life. This guy was betrayed. This guy should probably go back home and revenge. This guy has lost. This guy, I mean, see who he was. From having a coat of many colors, he was stripped. He had nothing. He became a slave. This guy can never become anything. So I mean, it was justifiable that Joseph should become a very bitter, envious, angry person, and even a person that was thirsty for revenge. But this guy said, it was God that sent me. Can you imagine such reframing? He reframed his experience in the picture and in the ambit of God's purposes for his life. So the way to reframe what you are going through is to reframe it in the context of God's purpose for you. I'm trying to go deeper, right? That addictions is just a sentence in the story of your life. So the way to change it is not to focus your life on trying to overcome an addiction. No. It is it is by focusing on the entire book. So Joseph was able to reframe his experience, not be in the context of my brothers betrayed me, they even tried to kill me, they sold me to slavery, or or you say things like, I've been trying to overcome his addictions. I've spent money. My parents even hate me for what I have done to them. I lost my marriage because of this addiction. I lost my girlfriend. I lost this money. I lost some money. Even all of those things may be a reality, but the reality is not that a reality. The reality is, I have to reframe this thing in the context of who I was designed to be. So let's just say a prayer. Say, Father, please how do I put it now? What's the word? What is in my mind? All right. Remind me of the vision of who I am. Just say that prayer in the next 10 seconds. Say, Father, remind me of who I am. Remind me of who I am, and help me to frame my life experiences in the context of that. Remind me of who I am. Remind me of who I am. See, when when a lion knows who he is, he doesn't have to play with the sheep anymore, right? He just knows, like he becomes empowered to be able to think differently and act differently. So, say, Father, help me to see myself differently. Help me to see myself. Remind me of who I am. It says you are God's. Remind me of who I am. That's a superior. That's it. God. See, the Bible is a book of superior beliefs. It's showing you how to think differently. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Thank you, Lord. Number three, I have to rush now, right? Meditation to change the inner image. So meditation here is not just thinking, it is talking and thinking. It's talking to yourself, to your mind believes what you are saying. Let me share an example with you, right? Back then when I was still struggling with all of these addictions and all of that, pornography and all of that, back many years back, once I'm done like this with a particular session, let me put it like that, I will feel very bad. I'll be like, God, I'm sorry. But do you know what? As I'm saying that, I will start confessing. I will say, Satan, this thing that I'm doing, I have overcome it, and I'll be a tool to liberate others. I'll be declaring as I'm just finishing doing it, all of this rubbish I used to do. I will say it to my hearing, to the hearing of whatever spirit is around me. I'll say, Satan, you won't have the last laugh. I will overcome this thing. I will be free from it. And I will be a teacher to help people to be free from it. I'll be declaring like that, even though I had just finished the rubbish. That is meditation. That you're talking, but to yourself, your ears are so that's the way you will change your truth. I wish we had like a weekend to teach all these things. I would have taken my time to go through everything. But it is the way meditation changes everything. You have to meditate. So the real word of meditation is what? Is talking, muttering. You have to talk, 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 talk. But talking to yourself, speaking to yourself. So you find a list of things to say and be saying it. Right? Honestly, I wish I had more time. I'll give you more examples of other things to explain this, but let me just go through it. Somebody say we want another class. Who is that? Bolu Atife? Maybe I'll consider doing that. Number four, leverage support systems. If you were in my class, okay, I was invited to speak at my wife's program some time ago, like 2 weeks ago, right? And I shared a bit about accountability. So if you can just go to my Facebook page, you will find a post. Maybe after this program, just find a post that I wrote about accountability. Just read about it. You understand a bit about it, but I can't go too deep into that. But just be accountable, right? Find support systems, right? I have a group of friends that I call them the Daniel's Company, right? And that name came out of the story of Daniel in the Bible. Daniel was of course, like in the story of the Bible, Daniel was a guy that was in Babylon, and he had three friends. He had three guys: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When he had a problem, right, he went to God. His Bible said that he went back to his company and he began to pray, and they were able to find out the dream of the king, isn't it? So Daniel had a company. So that was where I evolved the name Daniel's Company from. And we in that company were like three guys, but we have been through the thick and thin together. We have been able to solve problems of our lives together. We do almost everything together from before we got married, how we got married, everything, every phase of our lives, doing business, doing ministry, making impact with people's lives, like all the difficult things that we have had to go through in life. I was able to share with them, and we were able to pray through them to find victory. And the same way, you need support systems. You need people that are like brothers, like sisters. And every person, see, you must never be a loner in this life. You must never be a loner in this life. You must never be a loner in this. You must never be a loner. I forbid you to be a loner. What's his name? This club. What's the name of the club? Liverpool. And they say never walk alone, isn't it? Never walk alone. So ask God. In fact, pray. Say, God, show me my own company. Show me my company. Show me my company. Oh yeah, say it. Pray now. Say, God, show me my own company. Help me to build solid support systems to deal with my life issues. Say, pray right now. Pray right now. In the name of Jesus. Number five, yes, you have to work with professional counselors. Yes, aside from the spiritual aspect of meditation, praying, and all of this I've shared before now. I know that you have to find professional counseling, right? And I'm also even launching like what is that thing I wanted to share? It's a 10-day email accountability program, right? That's just between me and any person that has interest in it, right? And where I'll be able to mentor you one-on-one and to be accountable with you for like a period of time, right? Where till you're able to come out of whatever you're dealing with. I'll share the flyer later. Then finally, I said seek knowledge, right? That means you should get to read books, I mean, study, by and become a researcher of what you are dealing with so they can find answers to what you're dealing with. Number good. Okay, let me just say this quickly before I jump into the last point. Right. So this area of seek knowledge, the first time I ever searched online. So one day like that, that was this is like many years ago. I was still a teenager back then. I was still or I think my early 20s, maybe 21, 2021 or so, I think. So no, I think I was anyway. Either I was just in my late teens or maybe 20, I can't remember the age. So I was just in my room back then. I was still struggling with all of the addictions, pornography and all that. So that day, I was about to have my uh, regular vigils with all of this nonsense, all right? And a thought just came to my mind: the evils of pornography, the evils of masturbation. Like it just came into my mind. I don't know where the thought came from. I'm sure it was God anyway, because at that point I never thought that there was a negative consequence. Now, if remember what I said earlier, right? I never thought that there was a negative consequence to this thing because I was enjoying it too much. So that day, for the first time, I was like, oh my God, there are actually consequences to this. I was seeing people that lost their marriages, lost their spouses, lost critical things because of this. I was like, oh my God, I never knew because all my mind was, I mean, I was just a teenager. What was there? Oh my, everything was just pleasure for my mind. I never knew that there was another side if this thing continued for a long time. Right. So me accessing that knowledge that night shook me to my core. That what? That what I thought was just me, just flimsy, just normal pictures and one is just pleasure could actually become a thing that can ruin my destiny. I was like, Jesus. Because nobody taught me. Like nobody taught me in church or maybe my parents. I never heard any of this. Even in school, we never heard anything like this. Yet people were dealing with I mean, almost all our classmates in class then were involved in all of these things. And even you know all of these things as a person, all of these things were there. I never knew about these things until I sought knowledge that came. I don't know how that thing came. I'm sure it was good anyway. That at the point of me trying to search for what I liked, this was just search for this instead. And I was wow, there's something like this that evil. So that knowledge was the tool that began the deliverance. Anyway, let me just move on. And now, finally, I said here that build a new world view of the new you. So let's just do a last. This will be our last exercise that I want us to do. Just one thing, right? I wish we had the time, but let's just do this. Or okay, just close your eyes where you are right now, right? And visualize yourself doing what I'm doing right now, right? If you're probably dealing with a particular addiction right now to a particular thing, maybe social media addiction to betting, to smoking, to alcohol, whatever thing it is, maybe even to sex or whatever, right? Just close your eyes and imagine that you are now doing what I'm doing right now. I mean, teaching people and mentoring people, maybe even on a stage. Now, just imagine you teaching on a stage of like 1,000 people and you have about 10 invitations to speak in Brazil, in New York, and you are being used by God to be able to bring people into liberation, into liberty, or just see yourself being a very amazing family man or like a family woman, being that person that you have been designed to just begin to visualize yourself for. Just imagine yourself wearing a particular kind of your favorite clothes. Maybe you're wearing heels, you're wearing Brooks shoes, you're wearing nice suits. You're being driven around by your chauffeur, right? You you have become that person that has been able to overcome what you have been dealing with for years. Just begin to imagine yourself as that woman, as that man, right? See yourself in your identity in God. See yourself as dominating over what used to dominate you before, right? Just imagine yourself being wealthy and you're sponsoring people. You are even helping children imagine yourself having so much money that you're not able to help people who are into drugs. You are helping to rehabilitate them. You're opening up NGOs, you're opening up schools, opening up colleges of education, you're opening up universities, and you're helping young people to be able to find their calling just because you're able to overcome what you are dealing. You're beginning to see yourself as that woman, as that man, able to solve this problem at a global scale, right? Can you see yourself in your mind right now? Sure you can. Let's just move ahead. Thank you very much. So this is I think I already shared this before, right? 5 questions. I said number one. So you can maybe take this down or take a screenshot of it and share it with people that are in your circle or something. So these are the 5 questions to ask and to answer. Number one, what is the addictive challenge that you're dealing with, right? Number two, What beliefs have been holding you down? Number three, where did these beliefs originate from? And of course, how have these habits affected you? And finally, like we just did now, what would your life look like being free completely from these addictions? So questions, this is our final part um of the webinar tonight. If you have questions and comments, please let's do that. But before then, let me just share what I was talking about before. So I have this accountability program that I just developed, right? I call it Overcoming Addictions Accountability Program. So if you deal with something, now this program would be like one-on-one with you, right? And it's like we are writing to each other. There's a specific mail that I'll be sending to you, and you'll be replying as a person, right? And we'll go through the sessions together. I'll have some calls with you, and we'll be able to guide you through this 10-day journey, right? So if you've never done anything like this before, just get on it. This is actually a paid program. It's just how much is that? About five. I think just like 5K or so. It's just a giveaway for me. Just help people, right? My normal programs are about 50K normally, but this program is just like me just wanting to just do it. But of course, it's an accountability program, so you should actually be accountable by putting your funds where you have needs, right? So if you want to be a part of this program, it has so I will send you assessments. We'll have confidential conversations. I will share with you insights for your own personal journey. And of course, you have professional guidance and materials, and I would send to you, to just learn and just gain mastery about this. So if you want to be a part of this thing, the link is right there on the screen. Just take a screenshot of this slide and go and pay for it. It's just 5,000 naira thereabout. And finally, our program is coming up. Our healing meeting is coming up next 2 months. Excel, October 2024. This is a meeting that was designed to help people to come into wholeness on every area of their lives, right? Spirit, soul, and body, right? People are going to find healing from emotional distresses, from trauma, from past issues, right? And through the power of the Holy Spirit. So we have at this program, we have counseling, we have therapy, we have worship, we have prayer, we have the word, we have teachings, and all of that, just to help people to come to a level of wholeness, right? So this year's edition is going to be in October, and the link for registration is already out as well. I'll share it in the comment section. And so the theme is healed, whole, and unshakable. This is going to be a powerful meeting that even me I'm looking forward to right now, right? So if you want to be a part of this meeting, and this is a physical meeting, it's not online, it's physical, and it's be in Lagos, right? And it's be live streamed all over the world, right? So this is the meeting, and the meeting is coming up in October 2024. So the link to register for the accountability program, you can register via this link. I'm just putting in the comment section. So let's just get our questions ready right now. If you have questions, I will look forward to receiving them now. Register for Excel. Even if you're not in Lagos, you can also follow online. Follow online. So this year's edition is a very special edition. In fact, there's a whole lot. If I share with you, you'll be mind blown. We have about 6 partnering organizations for this meeting that are partnering with us to birth this meeting this year. We have a special media partner that is helping us with all the media broadcast, the videos, the pictures, everything for the program. Will be highly digitally covered by this organization called the Behaviours, right? They are the ones partnering with us as the media partner for Excel 2024. And we have about 5 other companies that are partnering with us as well. So they are companies that specialize in therapy, in counseling, to help people on different aspects of life to be able to find healing and wholeness and restoration and just come to their full self as God has designed them to be. Right. So this is a link for registration in the comment section. Please go and register and share the flyers, and let's start inviting people. So yes, finally, our questions. So do you have questions or comments? Let's do that right now as we wrap up. Do you have questions and comments? Some people have left the meeting. I understand that took maybe, all right, but this is not just in the motivation. This is a webinar, so it has to be very expository. I wish I had more time, but hey, I'm sure you got value. So please, do you have questions or comments, suggestions? Let's do that now. But if not, I guess we are good to go. The recording will be available on, I'll put it on YouTube so that you can watch it on my YouTube channel and get blessed. So any questions, please wrapping up right away. Questions, 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 questions. Any questions? Wow, all correct. Or if you want to just share what maybe what stood out for you quickly in this meeting, and I'll just do that now for the next 5 minutes and we'll wrap up the meeting. What stood out for you in this meeting, and how do you see yourself putting it forward or applying it? Um, okay, somebody's asking for the slide. Yes, I can send you the slide if you want me to send it to you. Shagun, yeah, please go ahead or just get comments.
Thank you so much, sir, for the time
Yeah.
and for like going very intensive. I think that one of the things that stood out to me is just the fact that at the core of the problem is the
Mm,
belief, and then at the core of solving it also is also belief. Um,
mm,
so like largely it's not just necessarily about the action on the outside. It is like the thought
yeah,
process that is sponsoring it, and
true.
that's very profound. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. The thought process that sponsors the actions. That's everything. As a man thinketh, not as a man thinketh, so is he. So the thinking will influence the actions, will influence our life. All right. So and that's why we meditate so that the thinking can become changed. It takes time, but it becomes changed eventually. So the superior belief system, like I was sharing before, everything still boils down to awareness of who you are, where you are, what you're doing. Number two, I said, you have to reframe the experience, reframe it in the context of your purpose in life, of what you are meant to do on this earth. Number three, I said meditation. I said seek knowledge, right? All of those things, and they are not. I mean, they look very simple on the surface, yes, but is what I'm talking about. Those things that makes them superior beliefs, right, to you, and are able to overcome the natural things that are keeping you where you are. And if you remember anything that I shared tonight, is the story of Joseph, that Joseph reframed his entire experience. So yes, you may have. So it means that even you know that when somebody goes to prison and comes out, they will say the person is an ex-convict, all right, the ex-convict. But when a person moves from being a sinner to becoming a Christian, the person becomes a new creation, not an ex-sinner or an ex. So I'm giving you a belief now, all right? A belief to think about. So it means that what you used to be, you no longer become, as there's no reference of who you used to be in who you are now. That's what it means to be transformed, really. That when you see the egg of a butterfly, it doesn't look like the butterfly. But it is the butterfly, but it is not the butterfly anymore. It has evolved. It has become a brand new thing, a brand new person. Right. So that's why I asked you to think about what your life will look like if you are now free, or that person that you know that is doing something. Imagine how that person's life will look like. For me, you know, I have a way I see people. It's a very strange thing, right? So there's this guy um that's around our environment here that you know this guy, I've seen him smoke weed, and guy looks very rough. But someone like that, I just felt the need to just ask for his name. I said, guy, what's the name? Say my name is Moses. I was like, this guy that looks so rough and everything. Said his name is Moses. I was like, oh my god. And I began to pray for him like that. You know. So I had the chance to speak to him about God, about salvation, and all of that. That was like maybe like 2 weeks ago or so, somewhere around the area. And this guy literally was frozen in his track as I was talking to him. I was like, guy, do you know that your name carries a prophetic meaning? That you may be drowning in your addictions to weed and all of that, but actually, just like uh, uh, um Moses parted the Red Sea, God can bring you out of it. And what Moses means being drawn out of water, isn't it? I said, God can draw you out of it. As this guy was looking at him like he froze in his track, because I was speaking prophetically, like in a sense, like yes, your name is Moses, but you are doing, but you God can bring you out of this water. Like it was just like that. So even though people see him as this guy is ruffian, looks rough when he smokes weed, he just somehow, just looks somehow. People see him like that, but I was seeing a prophet. I was seeing this guy. Like I was actually imagining him as someone that is preaching the Bible. Like I'm telling you, in my mind, I was seeing him as in well groomed, nice low cut, wearing the shirt, wearing trousers, wearing the shoe. That's the way I was seeing him, and that's the way I see him every time I see him around. I see him like that. I see him as a person teaching, explaining the Bible to somebody, talking new creation stuff. Even though it doesn't look like that at all now. All right, that's transformation. I'm seeing. So my belief about him is seeing him like that, a transformed person. So when I'm asking you to see yourself as a transformed person, I'm telling you to see yourself like that. That even though you are like this now, you are seeing another version of you that doesn't look like what you are or who you are now. All right, that's what it means to be transformed. They are seeing a different picture. All right. All right. Thank you so much. I wish we had questions. Some people have left already. Maybe they would have had questions, but it's fine. I'm still available on WhatsApp. If you want to reach out, I'll be available to take your questions. But then again, if you want more personalized interaction on this topic and this concept of addictions, of overcoming addictions, please just um join the accountability program. It's just 10 days, all right? The personalized stuff. Just go on seller and just make a payment for that. It's for your own, it's for your own personal development. I mean, it's not like I'm charging 1 million. Right. Some people would probably charge a millionaire or something for this thing like this abroad. Right. But this is just me just putting this out to help a lot of people that I can, because you have to be accountable to yourself. And that's one of the principal tools to overcoming these things. Right. And of course, Excel is coming up. Excel is a free meeting, it's not a paid meeting, it's a physical meeting here in Lagos in October 19th to be specific. Right. It's gonna be powerful. We have a lot of powerful speakers that are coming, right? To teach, to share their stories, and it's gonna be powerful. And we have a worship session. Everything is just gonna be solid, actually bigger than the last 2 years. Right. So register for it and let's see you in the program. With that said, 2 hour webinar has just ended. Thank you so much. Please follow me on social media, and you can also share your own. You can also share your own social media links in the comment section. But yeah, just follow me on social media. Follow me, Oluwatobi Adesanya, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter, or X, as they call it now, and also on LinkedIn as well. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Shegun, for being here. Thank you for inviting your friends. Thank you. I can see Babajide, James. I'm not seeing James in a while. Good to see ya. Thank you, every person. Thank you for, yeah, what else is here again? Thank you, Shegun. Yeah. Michelle is here too, of course. Noah, so good to see you here in a long. I've not heard from you in a long time, but I'm glad that we are able to connect here. So let's connect more on WhatsApp. So good night, everybody. Wait a minute. Would you like me to have this kinds of programs from maybe like every month? Let me just get your thought. Do you think I should be having programs like this every month, or maybe once every 2 months on specific topics every week? It takes a lot to do this webinar, so the time, preparation, the mental work that goes into these things is not cheap at all. Right. But yes, I like that feedback every week. Yeah, I might consider every month actually, and see how we can get more people to join, because some of these teachings are not things that should just be, it's supposed to be for many people, because I mean Christ taught to multitudes. We need to get the truth of business, social media, get these things out there so people can be liberated from all those things. So yes, I'll share more as God helps me. God bless you. Thank you for being here. I love and celebrate you. Catch you next time. But register for Excel and for the accountability program, and share with your friends as well too, please. Let's get more people on board. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. Thank you. Even when I don't see it, you're working. When I don't feel it, you're working. Never stop working. Never stop working.